They said she was just the maid, the one who pushed her cart through silent corridors, long after the city lights dimmed. But in those glass walls, where reflections of power gleamed like mirrors of lies, she heard the frustration in the engineers' voices echoing through her headphones. A problem too big, too complex, too clever for their degrees to fix. She moved like a whisper, eyes tracing symbols on a whiteboard. No one noticed she noticed. There it was, a rhythm, hidden in numbers, a heartbeat inside chaos. How could they miss it? Maybe because they never saw her at all. And as the city outside pulsed under Atlanta's midnight rain, she paused by the glass door, mop in hand, staring at a code that felt familiar. Have you ever seen the truth shining right in front of people too proud to look down? Morning comes, but no one remembers the woman who stayed long after the lights went out. The engineers shuffle in with coffee cups and half-broken pride. They talk about failed scripts and crashed systems, but she moves quietly, carrying her cart past them like part of the furniture. No one knows she replayed those numbers all night in her head, patterns looping like songs from another life. As laughter fills the room, she wipes the same tables where the future is being built, but she already holds a piece of it, tucked inside her mind, waiting. The day drags on. Deadlines chase panic, and the system still refuses to run. The team works in tight clusters, arguing over syntax and logic while she polishes the floors around their feet. But her mind dances differently. She sees symmetry where they see noise. The mop becomes rhythm. The code becomes motion, and somehow it all fits. In silence, she solves the unsolvable. Only no one's watching. That night, the office empties. The rain outside is steady, washing the glass clean like truth pressing in. She stands before the whiteboard again. This time she picks up a mark. Her hand trembles, not from fear, but from years of being told to stay in her place. The lines flow, one after another, until the numbers make sense. The screen glows behind her, reflecting her face beside the code. Two worlds colliding at last. When the lights flicker, she drops the marker, startled by the sudden hum of machines restarting. The code, her code, has connected. For a second, everything is still. Then screens across the room light up in sync, the problem gone. The hum feels like applause from the walls themselves. She stands alone, heart racing, and whispers to no one, "They'll never believe it." But belief isn't what she's after. Truth is. The nights grew longer after that spark. She began staying later, pretending to wipe down counters that were already clean, her eyes flicking between screens and shadows. The code lingered in her mind like a secret melody, each equation whispered back to her, daring her to try again. The company's engineers thought the problem was gone, but she knew better. There was more buried deep inside the system, something they'd overlooked. She borrowed fragments of logic from discarded printouts, building small puzzles in her head while the hum of the servers kept rhythm. She moved like a ghost among the machines, unseen, but alive with purpose. Every key she pressed after midnight became a whisper of rebellion, a silent war between brilliance and invisibility. The following evening, she finds another soul still working, someone who doesn't look away when she enters the room, Maria. The young engineer's eyes meet hers in the glow of the monitors. No words are spoken, but something passes between them. Recognition. Maria pretends to drop a folder, and when Lena kneels to help, their hands brush across the same page of code. A silent understanding forms. They are two women bound by curiosity and caution, standing at the edge of something that could cost them everything. They begin to meet in silence. Maria covers for her, saying she's running diagnostics while Lena tests her theories after hours. Together, they explore patterns that even the system architects can't explain. But every click of the keyboard feels like a risk. Every whisper, a step closer to exposure. In a world that measured worth by job title and degree, they built a small world of truth. A world powered by courage, not credentials. One night, the elevator doors open unexpectedly. Footsteps echo down the hall. Maria freezes, heart pounding. Lena calmly shuts the monitor and grabs her mop, shifting back into her role. Ethan enters, pale from fatigue, mumbling to himself about lost data. He doesn't even look at her, just walks past, eyes on his tablet. When he's gone, Maria exhales, trembling. Lena gives her a small smile, a signal that survival sometimes means pretending. Or sure, you need to. When Ethan leaves, silence returns, thick and heavy. Maria looks at Lena with new respect, almost awe. You could get fired, she whispers. Lena replies softly, some things are worth losing if they help the truth find light. She turns the monitor back on. The code glows again, a living thing breathing between them. Outside, rain begins to fall on the city glass, and with each drop, Lena feels closer to something that's been locked away far too long. Recognition. By the third week, the pressure inside Crane Technologies could be felt like static in the air. The system kept crashing without warning, and Ethan's once polished confidence had turned to panic. Meetings ran into midnight. Lena still cleaned quietly, though now she listened differently, hearing the cracks not in the code, but in their certainty. Every frustrated sigh, every muttered blame, built the rhythm she knew how to fix. Maria slipped her USB drive into Lena's cart one night, whispering, "Run it after they leave." The world didn't notice the alliance forming in the shadows. Between two women the system had underestimated, and when the lights dimmed, Lena moved to the terminal again. Calm, steady, invisible, and unstoppable. When the test finally runs, it's not silence that fills the room. It's a hum that feels alive. The servers stabilize, lights steady, and a clean data stream scrolls across the monitor. Lena leans closer, heart thudding. For a moment, she forgets she's the janitor. She's the architect, the builder, the unseen genius. Maria grips her shoulder in quiet awe. The code works perfectly, but before they can save it, an alert pops up. Unauthorized access detected. Panic flashes across Mariah's face. Lena exhales slowly, a calm deeper than fear. "Let them come," she murmurs. The truth has already entered the system. By morning, word spreads like wildfire. The system's impossible bug has vanished, but no one knows how. Ethan takes the credit before the board without hesitation. Voice steady, smile polished. Maria stands behind him, silent, fists clenched. Lena listens from the hallway, holding her mop, expression unreadable. She isn't angry. She expected this. But as she looks at the glowing conference room through the glass, she wonders how long truth can stay buried before it forces its way to light. The celebration is short-lived. Hours later, the system glitches again, a trace of Lena's original pattern emerging in the audit logs. Engineers crowd the screens, confused. "It's showing a new signature," one whispers. Ethan's smile fades. Victor demands answers. In the noise, Maria slips away to find Lena. They meet in the janitor's closet, the hum of the vents covering their whispers. "They found your code," Maria says. Lena smiles faintly. "Good," she replies. "Now they'll have to see me." By nightfall, the office feels like a storm ready to break. Lena returns to the server room. One last time. No disguise this time. No hesitation. She types her name into the code. A small signature, not for glory, but for truth. The monitors glow brighter, her reflection merging with the cascading data. Behind her, footsteps approach, heavy, fast, angry. She doesn't turn around. For once, she doesn't have to hide. The world built on their ignorance is finally about to see what it erased. The next morning begins like every other. The smell of burnt coffee, tired faces, fluorescent hum. But this time, silence follows Lena's footsteps. The system, which had stabilized overnight, now displays something new. A string of initials at the end of the restored code. Hers. The engineers stare at the monitor, confusion rippling through them. Ethan leans closer, eyes narrowing. "Who's La Carter?" he mutters. Across the hall, Lena continues her routine, sweeping floors as whispers spread. The irony cuts deep. The company's miracle solution now bears the name of the woman they never saw. Within an hour, chaos erupts. The CEO storms into the office demanding explanations. Ethan stammers, trying to rewrite the story, but the audit logs tell their own. Maria stands quietly, watching him drown in his own lies. Lena is summoned upstairs. The first time she's ever been asked to meet the executives. As she rides the elevator, her reflection in the mirrored walls seems to shift. Not the uniformed maid they remember, but the mind they never imagined. When the doors open, every eye turns toward her. Silence fills the room thicker than fear. The meeting feels like theater. Victor's voice drips with condescension as he asks how she stumbled upon the solution. Ethan avoids eye contact, his arrogance dissolving. Lena stands straight, speaking softly but firmly. She doesn't talk about degrees or positions, just patterns, logic, and observation. Her words flow like truth itself. Simple, undeniable, human. When she finishes, the room is silent. Maria breaks it with quiet applause. One by one, others join. And for the first time in that glass kingdom, respect sounds louder than doubt. That afternoon, rumors spread beyond the office. Word leaks to investors, then to local media. The janitor who cracked the code. Cameras flash outside the glass building. Inside, some whisper praise, others whisper resentment. Lena doesn't smile. She just keeps walking, her steps slow, measured. For years she was invisible. Now every light follows her. But she isn't chasing fame. She's walking through it, carrying dignity like armor. Maria meets her by the door, eyes bright. "You changed everything," she says. Lena shakes her head gently. "No," she answers. "I just showed them what was already there." By evening, the building grows quiet again. The chaos fades, replaced by something heavier, realization. Ethan sits alone at his desk, staring at the line of code that exposed him. Maria walks past, leaving her badge on his desk, done with silence. Upstairs, Lena stands before the same whiteboard she once cleaned. The numbers remain, but now they carry her mark. She smiles faintly, not in pride but in peace. For the first time, she feels seen, not by their eyes, but by her own reflection. The following morning, the office feels brittle, like glass ready to shatter. The celebration banners still hang from the walls, but no one dares to touch them. Lena's story is everywhere. News sites, social feeds, whispered conversations in break rooms. Some call her a hero, others call her lucky, but truth has already taken root. Ethan keeps his door shut. The blinds drawn, the hum of his computer, his only company. Victor paces in his office, calculating damage control. Maria watches from her desk, quiet but proud. In the midst of it all, Lena moves through the building with quiet certainty. She is no longer invisible, and the silence that once erased her now feels like respect. A company-wide meeting is called. Victor stands before the staff, voice smooth, face composed, trying to rewrite the narrative into something palatable. Innovation comes from every level, he says, as if he'd always believed it. The applause is hesitant, uncertain. Lena listens from the back, arms crossed, eyes steady. Maria sits beside her, silently daring the room to look her way. For the first time, Ethan cannot speak. His silence is confession enough. And when Victor invites Lena to the stage, she doesn't hesitate. She walks forward through the hush like someone claiming what was already hers. When she speaks, the room softens. Her voice is steady, low, and kind. She doesn't talk about injustice or betrayal. She talks about opportunity, about the brilliance that hides behind closed doors and titles. Every word lands heavier than applause. For a moment, the company sees itself reflected in her truth, the arrogance, the blindness, the potential to be better. She ends simply, "You can't claim progress if you refuse to see who makes it possible." Then, she steps away, leaving a silence more powerful than any speech the company had ever heard. Outside the boardroom, reporters gather as the company releases its official statement. Acknowledgement of internal contribution. The press release reads, vague yet undeniable. She answers each question with grace, deflecting credit toward the unseen workers who keep the place alive. Maria joins her side, hand lightly brushing her arm. A quiet show of solidarity. Inside, Ethan signs his resignation, while Victor stares at his reflection in the glass, realizing power doesn't look like him anymore. That night, the office lights fade for good. Lena stands on the rooftop, watching the city glitter below. Each window another story of people unseen, waiting for their moment to be recognized. Maria joins her, quiet, content. You changed more than a company, she says. Lena smiles. What? Maybe, she answers. But all I wanted was to clean things that were dirty. The wind carries her words across the skyline, dissolving into the hum of a city learning to see. Weeks pass, and the building hums with a new rhythm. The plaques on the wall now list Lena's name among the senior staff, a quiet correction that means everything. She still arrives early, still greets the security guard by name, but she no longer carries a mop. Her badge opens doors that were once glass barriers. Some greet her with genuine warmth, others with forced smiles, but none can deny the change she's carved into the place. For the first time, she isn't moving through someone else's world, she's shaping it. And though the city outside remains loud with ambition, inside, peace hums like code that finally runs clean. Lena's new office is small but filled with light. She keeps it simple. One plant, one family photo, one whiteboard covered in looping notes. Maria visits daily, bringing laughter and ideas. Together, they build new programs to mentor interns, pushing open doors that used to close without a sound. Ethan is gone, his absence unspoken but heavy. Victor still calls from time to time, each conversation shorter than the last. The company hums, cleaner, steadier, more honest. Sometimes Lena looks out at the skyline and wonders how many other voices are still trapped behind locked doors, waiting for someone to listen. An email arrives one morning from a local high school, asking her to speak to students about perseverance. The thought terrifies her more than any boardroom ever did. Still, she agrees. That afternoon, she stands before a classroom full of curious eyes, faces that remind her of her own reflection years ago. She tells them the truth. Brilliance has no uniform, and sometimes silence is just a disguise for genius. When she finishes, a girl in the back whispers, "I want to be like her." And in that moment, Lena realizes this is what recognition truly means, passing the light forward. That evening, she returns to the rooftop where it all began. The city hums below, steady as breath. Maria joins her with 2 cups of coffee. They stand in silence for a long while, watching the traffic weave through the streets like veins of light. "Do you ever wish it hadn't happened this way?" Maria asks. Lena smiles softly. "No," she answers. "If it hadn't, we'd still think walls were meant to be mirrors." The wind lifts her words, carrying them into the skyline, a quiet vow to every unseen dream still waiting to be noticed. Later, alone in her apartment, Lena sits at her kitchen table, laptop open, coffee cooling beside her. She writes, not code this time, but a story. Her story. Her story, each line becomes a release, a map for others who feel unseen. When she finishes, she closes the laptop and exhales. The city outside blinks, alive and endless. Recognition, she realizes, isn't applause or headlines. It's the freedom to be oneself without asking permission. She turns off the light and lets the darkness settle, peaceful, earned, whole. Months have passed. The headlines have faded, but the impact has not. Lena's name has become a quiet symbol, whispered in classrooms, community centers, and late-night coding sessions across the city. What began as survival has turned into mentorship. Every Saturday morning, she teaches a small group of girls in a borrowed classroom at the public library, teaching them logic, patterns, and patience. No cameras, no reporters, just laughter and light. They remind her of herself. Curious, cautious, underestimated. The world outside may still hold walls, but she's learning how to open windows instead. During a lesson, one of the girls raises her hand and asks, "How did you know you were smart?" Lena pauses. The question pierces deeper than any she's been asked before. "I didn't," she admits softly. "I just stopped believing everyone who said I wasn't." The room goes quiet, the girls staring as if she's given them a password to their own power. Maria leans against the wall, eyes glistening. Lena realizes that these moments of awakening are worth more than recognition or awards. She's no longer fixing code. She's rewriting belief. Later that afternoon, the mayor's office calls, inviting her to speak at a technology summit. She hesitates, remembering the fear she once felt in rooms filled with judgment. But Maria insists, "You belong there," and she does. The event becomes another turning point, not because of the applause, but because Lena walks on stage not as a symbol, but as herself. She no longer needs to prove her worth. She simply shares it. After the summit, she walks through the city park alone. The same park she once crossed on her way to night shifts. The air feels different now. Not lighter, but freer. She stops to watch a group of teens coding on their laptops under a tree. None of them notice her. And that's exactly how she likes it. Her legacy doesn't need to wear her face. It only needs to breathe her courage. The hum of the city folds into the sound of laughter. And for the first time, she lets herself feel the fullness of peace. That night, Lena sits on her balcony overlooking the glittering skyline. Her phone buzzes with messages from students, coworkers, even strangers thanking her for inspiring them. She smiles, puts it down, and looks toward the horizon. Somewhere, a janitor is cleaning an office, humming to herself, unaware that she, too, carries brilliance in her hands. Lena closes her eyes, whispering a quiet prayer of gratitude. The world once called her just the maid. Now she knows the truth. She was always the architect.